a podcast called J is for Justice.
I think they just hope that she returns no matter what. Oh my God, that's Megan's house. Oh my God. Oh my God.
And then...
Wait a second, you guys. We have breaking news. All of a sudden in the chat, there was breaking news that there was a raid going on in Houston, Texas. It may be connected to a high-profile case.
That's her best friend. She would not be there.
Hey everybody, welcome. Thank you for joining us tonight for part 2 of The Timeline with myself, Jay, and Carl Danger. What's up, Carl? Oh wait, I had you muted. What's up, Carl?
Hey.
Let's try that again. So what's happening? How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, just chilling.
Chilling like a villain.
Yep. Chilling like a villain.
Are you ready to jump into part 2 of this timeline?
Yes.
All right.
Part 2 of the saga.
The saga, the DAYBELL VALLOW saga that you just keep getting more and more deeper into.
I know, the info doesn't stop.
It's kind of scary at this point. How much keeps adding on to what's already there. All right, so we are back in early November, late October of 2019. That's where we left off last night. So if you guys missed part 1, part 1 is up. It was pretty long, but everything we talk about takes us down another road. So that's what's happening here. But it's a good thing because Carl here is filling in all of the gaps of everything that's happened since this was originally written. So this is Annie Cushing's timeline that we're going off of, which is awesome, very detailed. I want to thank her. She was in chat last night. I want to thank her for her hard work in putting this together. I know that it hasn't been easy for her. So many props to Annie.
Is she in the chat tonight?
I don't see her yet. Hopefully she shows up. I love what she throws in. She threw in a lot of...
She has like all the dates right off the top of her head.
I know it, man. I know it.
Like programmed in there.
All right. So we are late October, early November of 19. Lori and Chad lie about the death and even existence of Lori's children. Rexburg Police Department published witness testimony in a press release alleging that Lori and Chad both lied about the children's existence. And then here's a quote from the Rexford Police Department witness testimony. We are aware that in the weeks after Tammy Daybell's death, Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell told witnesses that Lori's daughter had died a year before the death of her father, which is untrue. Around that same time, Chad told another witness that Lori had no minor children. According to an affidavit obtained by East Idaho News in February of 2020, law enforcement also interviewed Chad Daybell's parents and Tammy's sister. There was no date in the article. Daybell's parents tell detectives Chad and Lori had told them in November that Lori was a, quote, empty nester. Tammy's sister reports that Chad told them Lori had no juvenile children. She notes that there was no date for the interview of Chad Daybell's parents and Tammy's sister, so she approximated. She reached out to the reporter to find out if the affidavit listed a date and also created an account to start requesting court documents herself and is in the verification process. So here we are continuing in early November. Estimated time, Chad Daybell received $430,000 in life insurance proceeds from Tammy Daybell's death. Wow, 430 grand. So then in fall of 2019, which we talked about on a previous live, Chad Daybell being excommunicated from the LDS Church after he declared that he was a prophet.
Yeah, declared that he was a prophet, and
That kind of goes along with the stuff that you were telling us about him inviting people from the LDS Church to his house under, false pretenses to get them there so that they could follow him and not the church. Right?
Yeah.
So he was doing all this shady side stuff, and then that was what ultimately made him excommunicated, correct?
Yeah, well, not only was he saying that he was a prophet, he was saying that the entire LDS church leadership was
Fake.
false. They were corrupt. They had all been corrupt, and that Chad was
He was the end all be all, right? He was the guy to go to.
He was the guy that was going to save everyone.
Do we have a number of people that believed this? Like an approximate number of people that actually fell for Chad being the prophet?
Well, we kind of went over numbers. What was it, like 2 episodes ago?
Yeah, I can't remember what they were.
Parrott said that he had 20,000 plus members in the VALLOW network, and the Preparing a People network, that's with Mike and Nancy James. They haven't really been clear on their numbers because they just want to pretend like none of this has ever happened. But one of Chad's ex-followers said that, with the Church of the Firstborn and there being several different prophets within that church, like it's, the Hydra cult, that Chad probably had in between like 20 and 25,000 followers specifically following him. And that's like not just Rexburg and Springville.
This is
Salt Lake
online,
City.
right? This is online.
Yeah, this is everywhere.
I mean, that's a good amount of people.
Yeah, it's a lot of people. He was doing, I don't know what he was offering the people that were coming into his house, like as far as if they, I don't know, if they were being offered something different than anyone else, like if there was an incentive to move to Rexburg and be there aligned with Chad.
Right.
Because we know that there's a pretty big following down there in Chandler, Gilbert, Mesa-ish.
Do we know,
Jason Moe,
go ahead, Jason Moe, what?
we don't know if he's like one of the co-leaders down there or if he is the one that everyone looks up to.
Oh.
But it's a lot worse than we made believe. And the cult has infiltrated the police ranks in that area. And so it's not just Jason's influence could have impacted Alex's investigation. There could have been more people on the inside that someone else was afraid of or listening to.
Scary stuff to me. I just have a question from Patch in chat. Does Carl know what documents were sealed in Lori's case today?
No. No, I haven't been online. I haven't been online today. I don't know what's going on today, if there's anything that's changed.
Okay. All right, so let's move forward to November 2019. Kylie's gray Jeep Wrangler was seen in closed-circuit TV the day Brandon Boudreaux was reportedly shot in front of his home in Gilbert, Arizona. Is seized and impounded in accordance with a search warrant in November 2019 in Rexburg, Idaho. The Jeep is registered to Charles VALLOW. This is in the first week of November. Rexburg PD is contacted by Gilbert and Chandler PD after the attempted shooting of Brandon for help in obtaining search warrants for the Wrangler. And it was believed to be related to a possible attempted murder of Brandon Boudreaux. Do you have anything that you want to add to the shooting of, or the attempted shooting of Brandon?
Well, we had talked about, we didn't really talk about how, like the neighborhood layout and all of that, like how the Jeep was angled and how Brandon was entering the neighborhood. We kind of more or less talked about that Brandon had seen Alex pop up from the Jeep and there was a shot fired. And then I think it startled him and he put his foot on the gas instead of on the. He didn't get himself situated off in a direction, full split up. Brandon, he was in the car and he had called the police. Alex, it was shot at and Brandon reached for the phone.
Hold on, Carl. We're having some audio
Brandon
issues.
called police until he had kind of.
You had cut out there.
Wonderful.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, we were having a little bit of audio issues. I'm sorry.
Well,
Yeah, can you guys hear me okay?
Can you?
I'm just wondering if they can hear me. You're cutting in and out, but I don't know if it's on my end or your end.
You sound like a robot.
I do, so do you.
Oh, now you're clear.
Am I good now? Oh, it's just
Yeah, now you
Carl.
are.
It's just Carl. Okay, I'm clear. Okay, now we hear both. Someone told you to switch to a different burner phone, Carl.
I'll give it a shot.
Melissa
Melissa
said Carl moved 5 feet from the portal. Can you hear me? Oh no.
I can hear you.
Oh, shit.
You sound like a robot.
Do I still sound like a robot now?
Nope, now you're good.
I don't know what is going on here. They say I'm crystal clear, but you're
Yeah.
garbled. It's this damn portal, isn't it?
Do you want me to hang up and call back?
Yeah, you want to? You want to try ringing in again? Yeah, try calling back because I
I can
can't.
try hanging up and calling back because I can't hear you.
Yeah, try it. Try it.
Okay.
Sorry about that, you guys. Can you guys hear me okay right now? Harper, his name is Carl Danger, and he has a Facebook group on this case with about 16,000 people in it. And he knows this case inside and out and has talked to many people involved. Carl, are you back? Kimberly, you can rewind because I think he explained where he got those numbers. You can rewind. I have the DVR option on. Carl, can't hear you at all. Can someone put the group up, the link up to Carl's group? And Prepper says, Carl, add another quarter to the payphone. Yeah, he's in the boonies. In the boonies. And I can't hear him at all now either. Carl, if you can hear me, I'm going to actually end the meeting and restart it. Let's see if that works. All right, let's start it over. Let's see if that helps. Bear with us, guys. No, he wasn't on mute. It's just we're having some issues with the Zoom audio. Yeah, someone needs to kick the router.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it was giving me an option to call you over the internet or just dial in. And so I was thinking that maybe it was the internet, and I tried to dial in, but I can't ever get that to work. That's what I was trying to do last night.
So what'd you do? Connect to computer audio?
No, just did connect with internet.
Oh, right. Okay, so you sound good. You sound perfect.
Perfect.
All right, we're back. All right, so let's continue. I know you got cut off a little bit on the whole Brandon being shot at thing. But we did have a question for you. Someone wanted to know where you got the estimate of Chad's followers.
On the numbers?
Yeah.
Okay, so with the VALLOW numbers, Chris Parrott put those numbers out himself. And then with Chad's followers, members, that's someone that's was with Chad, and those were the numbers that Chad would tell people.
Okay, so does that
So that
explain, Kimberly? Kimberly asked like 20 times while you were garbled. Thank you for explaining that. All right, so back to the timeline. Rich Robertson on November 1st follows Alex Cox and Melanie Boudreau to Rexburg, Idaho. 11-1. Now, who is Rich Robertson? I'm probably going to get...
that's the private investigator.
Oh, this is the private eye. Okay. And then Detective Ray Hermosillo starts intermittent surveillance on Lori Vallow at the request of the Gilbert Police Department. Hermosillo reports that he never saw JJ when he was performing surveillance through the month of November 2019. So they started surveilling Lori on November 1st. Two detectives knock on Melanie Boudreau's door asking about Lori Vallow. Her account, quote, "I'm foggy on this date, but Detective Hermosillo and another gentleman had come to my door while I was moving my stuff in, so it had to have been early in November, I'd guess the second week in November." And Annie notes that since they came to Melanie's door while she was moving her stuff in, that would be November 1st, not the second week in November. 11-5, Lori Vallow and Chad marry in Hawaii. This is 17 days after Tammy Daybell died. On 11, yeah, go ahead.
I'm trying to think. Let me see if I can pull up the date here real quick. But Melanie reportedly paid like $6,000 to attend some charity event down in Hawaii, and I think she like flew to LA and then bailed right before her flight to Hawaii. There was something else. There was something going on with that whole date and the Hawaii stuff.
Did she go out to Hawaii at that time?
Melanie did go out to Hawaii. Both Melanie and Jason Moe had made trips out to Hawaii to visit Lori in between October and November.
I thought so.
But it looks like this was supposed to be something different, and that it was possible. They didn't know if it was an Underground Railroad event or not.
Weird. This stuff's too weird. Okay, 11/7. Lori and Chad meet with Jeannie Martin about renting a room from her home in Kauai, Hawaii. According to Martin, after claiming to receive a signal from God about moving into her home, she asks about former wife Tammy Daybell's recent death. He answers via text claiming, "She helped me reconnect with Lori so quickly and it helped my children move forward." And then on the 8th, Chad Daybell sent an email to a Kauai realtor 3 days after he and Lori Vallow got married. Outside of authorities, this is the second source to tell us that Daybell said he had no kids on the island. Melanie on 11/12 trespasses onto Brandon's parents' property in America Fork, Utah. America Fork police say Melanie's uncle, Alex Cox, drove her to where her children were in a 2020 Kia Telluride. So on the 14th, Melanie trespasses a second time onto Brandon's parents' property at 10:30 p.m., claiming to have a court order stating she could take the children. Police cite Melanie for criminal trespassing and tell her to leave the property, but then decide to take her into custody for criminal trespassing enhanced by domestic violence. Melanie turns herself into AFPD and is booked into Utah County Jail. Melanie's uncle, Alex Cox, posts her bail of $1,950. The day after the arrest, Cox bailed Melanie out. So, do you have anything to add to that?
No.
No.
I was just looking at.
Well, what's this domestic violence about?
I'm pretty sure that it was just all the information that he had. He probably had all the court paperwork with him from Chandler. So they had
So he probably showed them all of
that there's a
that.
history.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So these people
'Cause
are
that's the one thing that,
they're no strangers to the county jails.
no, oh God, they're all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem, is that the jails weren't communicating with each other.
Exactly.
These guys were moving so quickly, so they weren't staying in jurisdiction.
Yep.
Like
they're all over the place, like you said.
Yeah. Cops weren't familiar with them, but the system was.
All right, so
Oh,
go ahead.
so when we got cut off at about the shooting,
Oh yeah.
we were talking about, and then we got cut off. So when Brandon was shot at the day before, they had closed on the sale of their $850,000 house, and that if that would have killed him, she would have been able to get the bank account, the life insurance, and the kids.
Okay.
Like all of that would have been.
Wait.
Because
back up. So they were selling a house.
Right, they had the house for sale.
And they closed on it?
I think the following day, or that day. What does it
Wow.
say? Let's see. Let's see. Brandon thought he was divorced when he was shot at. The day before, they had closed on the sale of their $850,000 house. So yeah, they closed on their house the day before. So if
she would have gotten
killed,
all that.
Yeah, she would have been able to get everything without anyone being able to fight anything.
Wow.
Yeah, so that would have been $850,000 plus she got $250,000 in the divorce. And then I guess Brandon was like he had created a business during the recession, and they had made it all the way up to like number 37 in the Fortune 500, I think, like up and coming businesses. So that's why Melanie was able to get $250,000, and Brandon, I guess, would have been well off.
Crazy.
It wouldn't have hurt him that bad to be able to rebuild after that. So you can only imagine what else she would have had access to.
People are not. Okay, so the 19th. So that happened. The shooting happened on what day again? The shooting at Brandon? That was in the beginning of November. Okay, so that was the beginning of November. And then we have... Wait, hold on. And then we have their divorce finalized on the 19th of November. So would she have gotten all that money even though their divorce was about to be finalized? Do you think?
It probably would have gone to the kids, or if he didn't have an updated will.
True. They have the two kids, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so then their divorce was finalized that on the 19th, and she doesn't even show up, and he's awarded full custody of their kids. So she just didn't even bother to show up?
Yeah, I don't know if she was scared that she would have been arrested for something else that she had been taken a part in. You know, like she appeared for that, and then they would have been like, all right, well, we're going to arrest you for this while you're here. So she might have just figured it was easier to not show up and then fight to get the kids later. She kind of just bailed. She picked up her stuff and ran.
And then she decided to fight for custody of the kids after that?
Well, the whole thing's so weird. Like nothing really makes sense. Nothing they ever do makes sense.
No, it doesn't. All right, so 11/21, Lori Vallow accesses JJ Vallow's app from his old school. She withdrew him on 9/5. 11/24, Lori and an unidentified man visit her storage unit, which is what, Chad with her on the 24th of November.
Let's see, left with the box of, there was one time when I think Alex was with her once.
They were only there for 4 minutes.
Yeah, let's see, it doesn't say. Was Alex there when they brought the seat in?
I thought you said that was Chad.
One of those. But it doesn't say anything about the car seat on that 11/24.
Oh, on October 3rd, it was Alex and Lori. Thank you, Jay Summers. Okay, are you still looking, or you want me to go ahead?
No, you're good. I was reading about the Kay finding the password for Amazon.
Oh. Kay Woodcock discovers by hacking into Charles Vallow's email after trying one of 3 passwords she says her brother always used, that an Amazon purchase had been sent to Lori Vallow's address in Rexburg, Idaho. Woodcock said now that she had an address, she could order the welfare check. What a smart lady. She was not giving up.
There was something about is Annie, did you see if Annie was in the chat or not?
I haven't seen her.
There's something about an old printer. Kay was able to get passwords using an old printer.
No kidding.
Yeah, something like that.
You know,
It's a strange.
crazy that she had to go to these lengths, you know. So on that same day, investigation began when Rexburg Police Department was contacted by the Gilbert, Arizona Police Department in response to the welfare check for JJ requested by Kay and Larry. Kylie wasn't included in the welfare check because Detective Nathan Moffat, one of the detectives who was on scene the day Charles was shot and described his ride with Lori and Alex and Tylee as straight up bizarre, thought he didn't need to include Tylee Ryan in the welfare check. Because Tylee's 16, 17 years old, I guess So, moving forward on the 26th, they actually performed the welfare check on JJ at 565 Pioneer Road in Rexburg.
Well, I don't think Kay would have even said Tylee to begin with. Like, I think if Kay would have said JJ and Tylee, I think she was just calling about a welfare check on JJ.
Right. Because that's who she had been trying to talk to. You know, she tried to get Lori to let him FaceTime her or whatnot. So
Yeah, they talked about her relationship with Tylee and basically said Tylee would be with her friends or go to her room and wasn't around. She didn't talk to him. They didn't have a relationship with her.
yeah, and there was a friend that actually thought that Tylee didn't live there. Didn't we read that last night? There was a friend that actually thought she didn't live there. Or no, it was the nanny.
That was
The nanny
yeah.
thought that she didn't even live there, that she just kind of came and went and did laundry and whatnot. So
Now, is that the TikTok nanny?
I don't
Did
know.
we?
I don't know about TikTok
That's
nanny.
there's the TikTok nanny, the one that kind of stayed silent, and you'd read about her a couple times, but then all of a sudden, like someone found her TikTok of her uh, kind of crying, and she had people were able to track her down, and one of
Oh,
our admins had chatted with her for a bit, and she's like, "Well, before I talk to you, I'll join the group and just kind of see what's going on." And then she was like, "You guys are talking about Lori and saying things that aren't true." And she's like, "I don't want to give you any information." Like basically saying that Lori's a good person and a good mom and that we all had it wrong. And that was her reason for not wanting to talk.
well, it couldn't have been her because this nanny was the one that thought it was odd that I think she was saying there was odd things. There was two nannies, right?
There's
One was only there for like 2 days, and then Lori set her loose, and they said they were moving or whatever.
Yeah, I think the TikTok nanny was around a lot longer than that.
So maybe the TikTok nanny was the one with more details that we talked about. Because she
Yeah,
had
but she was
a
like
lot of things. She crazy.
she was like a diehard Lori fan.
Oh, can't rely on
Yeah,
that.
like she was like really upset. She'd read, first of all, she saw the Lori memes and she read the comments
She got mad, big mad.
and stormed off, left the group, blocked everyone on chat, and bounced.
Hmm. All right, so we are at the welfare check, and that was when Lori told police that JJ's staying with a family friend in Arizona, which was probably, she was talking about Melanie Gibb, right?
Yeah.
Investigators learned later that day he had not been staying with the friend. And do we want to go over all these? I don't think we.
No, we kind of went over the Gibb stuff last night.
Mm-hmm.
I think everyone should be good.
We
That
kind
was
of
the whole.
we kind of got the gist of that one. So we're fast forward to the 27th. Do you want to go over?
That was the whole Chad trying to escape in his car, said that he didn't really know Lori, didn't have her phone number, all that.
Yeah, he downplayed it. Yeah, I don't have her number.
Yeah, and they'd been married 2 weeks. Yeah.
I mean, did they not think that investigators were going to figure this shit out? I don't get it.
I think they just wanted enough time to get to Hawaii. Because they bailed out of there pretty quick. They got a warrant and came back the next day, and those guys were gone. Where do you want me to start at?
Let's pick up on the 27th of November.
All right, so
That's what you were just talking about. Vacated the home.
yeah, law enforcement executes a search warrant for the townhouse Lori Vallow was renting. Discovers that Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell vacated the home. Witnesses say kids weren't with them. Law enforcement also searched the townhouses belonging to Vallow's brother Alex Cox and niece Melanie Boudreau, who reportedly lived within a few doors of Vallow. Let me adjust my screens.
And we don't know what they found in the townhouse apartments. We haven't heard anything.
Wasn't Alex's empty?
Alex's was totally
Alex's empty and had wasn't there just some guns in Alex's, but there wasn't really anything in there.
I wonder if they found anything though that we don't know about.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm dying to know.
Yeah, I was kind of asking about if Brandon went to go speak to the police and all that, and he went and talked about the shooting and had to give them details. And I'm wondering, they were able to find majority of Alex's guns, or what they could have thought were all of Alex's guns, and they could have, say they found 20 guns, they could have found 20 other pictures of guns on the internet, and then had Brandon flip through all the photos to see if he could identify one that he thought was used to shoot at him. So I'm sure they knew what was used, because they said that he thought it could have looked like a paintball gun because it had a silencer on it. So
Sorry. Kind of was reading chat and I got a little distracted.
So they search Lori Vallow's self-storage plus storage unit, where they find kids' bikes, toys, photo albums, winter clothes, a backpack with JJ's initials, a jersey with Colby Ryan's name on it. That's what we talked about last night.
Mm-hmm.
Photo blankets made from pictures of Tylee and JJ from infancy on. Related Lori Vallow or men associated with her visit storage unit total 10 times between October 1st and November 24th.
Yeah.
So then November 27th, approximate date, Alex Cox moves back to Arizona.
It says these people, and they're moving.
Yeah, him and Zulema getting
and his
ready to
wifey.
shack up. Yeah.
Him and his new wifey. Little does Alex know, he's got roughly about 2 weeks left.
Before he shits himself.
Oh my god, I almost spit out my pop.
Yeah. So detectives come to the house of Lori Vallow's son, Colby Ryan, to inquire about the whereabouts of Tylee Ryan and JJ Vallow. Colby told Fox reporter Justin Lum that he called his mom after they left and said, 2 detectives just came to my door. What's going on? She allegedly answered, I got it. I'll take care of it. Love you. Colby added, when pressed by Lum, that she also asked what the detectives asked him, but that was it. So, November 27th, Tylee had been missing for 2 months at that point.
So detectives come to Colby's house and mom what's going on, and she's like, I got it. Love you.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't worry about it. It just, I don't know.
None of this just sits right, you know? It's like all these
No,
people, how can they be so off?
I just wish people were straightforward. Like Annie straight up came out and said, I wasn't close with Tylee. I met her 3 times. This was my relationship with my brother. This was my relationship with Lori. You know, we weren't close. I tried to be close when I came out there, but it wasn't happening. And then after I saw how they acted, I didn't want to be a part of it. Figured that Tyler was probably in danger with me sticking around asking questions more than she would be if, you know, if I just went back to let Lori be a mom. But then you ask these other people from the other side of the family, and they're like, oh yeah, we love each other, we're best friends, we talk to each other all the time, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like, and then when this information comes out about how November 27th, you know, the detectives show up, and then he's like, well, what's going on, Mom? Why is this happening? It's like, well, obviously you're not as close as you try to tell everyone. Like, no one's going to say, well, it's your sister, why can't you be close? Like, a lot of us have weird relationships with family and friends. Like, it's not like they'd be the only family on the planet to have distant relationships or no relationship at all with each other.
Right.
Like in the military, there's people that join the military because they have no family. They want something where they can have family, friends, you know. So I just don't understand the lying of needing people to think one thing when, if they would have just told the truth from the very beginning, like,
It
this
was
is
no
the
big
relationship
yeah,
that
it
I
was no big
had.
deal.
Yeah. And then it would be like, oh, well, then this stuff makes sense. But
Well,
because
I
the
think
first
when
things you hear is the other stuff, it doesn't make sense.
Carl, I think people lie like that because there's other things that they're possibly hiding.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. But when you catch someone lying, what you want to do is keep digging and catch them in the rest of their lies, right?
Uh-huh.
You're not just going to drop it. Oh, you lied. I'm
Well,
sure that's
right.
the only thing you lied about.
Yeah,
Love you.
you're gonna you're gonna uncover all their bullshit, right?
Yeah. And that's exactly what happened with this case. Like, people couldn't drop it because it was like one lie after another nonstop.
Yeah, so it was completely uncovered online by people, including family members like Annie, who dissected this. And my God, I mean, what, her brother married Lori? I mean, that's her relation, right?
Yeah.
Her brother married Lori. And look at all of this craziness.
You have Adam Cox and his wife, Nicole. They've been out speaking against Lori from the get-go. Like, as soon as his name got brought up, once people start Googling the family tree and stuff, Adam and his whole DJ incident came out, and they wanted to jump on everyone and get ahead of it and be like, all right, yeah, this happened after that. It was an unrelated incident. We don't have a relationship with these guys. Like, we'll tell you anything else you want to know, but leave us alone, leave us out of it, because we don't have close ties with these guys anymore. But everyone else played it off like they're best friends and close, and they just made it worse for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Summer, we're gonna use Summer.
It just adds to the doubt of their stories, you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, now if you tried to say your last name is Cox and you're telling the truth, we're all just gonna laugh. I think it's a joke. And it sucks.
Exactly. But what about Adam? Does he seem like, is he kind of separated from the majority of the family, or is he right there in the midst of it?
he lives in Kansas. Like everyone else is off wherever. He's in Kansas doing his own thing. Well, actually, no. He just moved to St. George. He like just recently moved to St. George. I know. There you go with your moving
Another
thing again.
right. They're constantly moving.
Well, he couldn't get a job as a DJ after the whole
Oh, you said
weed
that.
incident.
Yeah.
So when he finally got the job as a DJ in Kansas, I think he held on to it so that, you know, he could help out his resume and be loyal to them so that he could get help, you know. They did him a huge favor by hiring him after everyone else wanted nothing to do with him. So
these people move more than my shoe. They do, man. It drives me crazy. I don't know how the hell they do it.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, so
not this guy.
Hell, I've moved so many times. The 27th of November is the date that the Rexburg Police Department requests the assistance of the FBI in finding Tylee Ryan and J.J. VALLOW. So the FBI got involved on November 27th, and then the 28th of November through December 1st. Oh, Chatty spent Thanksgiving weekend on vacation with his family in Southern California, traveling there via the Salt Lake City airport. Photos posted to social media show Chad at the airport and later Knott's Berry Farm, an amusement park in Buena Park, California. Lori wasn't in any of the photos, and her location during this time is unknown. So he went to a damn theme park.
Yeah, with his kids.
Cute. On the 29th, Black Friday, Alex Cox married Zulema Pastenes, whatever, in Las Vegas. According to the owner of a Chapel of Love in Las Vegas, where the two were married, the minister reflected on the service, commenting that the thing that stuck out to him most was their lack of emotional response. He continued, they were very cold. It was business. They wanted to get in and get out. The owner said their service only lasted 8 minutes, and their only witness was the chapel security guard.
Yeah, but they witnessed Melanie and Ian's.
But wasn't that
Ian weren't
that was the
witnesses
next?
for them.
Wasn't that the next day, or did that just happen to be after midnight? Because it says one was the 29th and one was the 30th. So maybe
I think it was. I think it was like 2 hours, something like that.
So they fully it was after midnight when Melanie and Ian got hitched. That's why it's 2 different days.
Melanie was already probably trying to get Ian to knock her up to trap him into the marriage. Yeah.
Melanie? Okay, so he married her at this chapel. It was all business, in and out. And then on the 29th, Melanie Gibb received an email from Lori full of beautiful pictures of the wedding on the beach. Gibb claims she didn't know they had gotten married.
Mm-hmm.
So she gets this email, and Lori just sends a bunch of pictures of her and Chad Hula and Chad playing the ukulele.
Melanie Gibb, Chad tried to get Melanie and David to break up, and he wanted Melanie to marry Alex.
What?
That was their whole thing, but
Ooh.
And he was trying to get her to ditch her kids, but there was something about how she didn't want to abandon her kids.
Who's
and
her?
David.
Who's Melanie Gibbs' ex-husband? Know anything about him?
Yeah, he their family's been pretty cool. They have a daughter and other family members that are in the group.
Oh,
And
really?
they've been pretty cool. They've given us some info, and we had their picture with their kids and the husband.
So her
And
ex-husband's pretty cool.
yeah, I guess he's like a stand-up guy in that. He's a chiropractor.
Oh, really?
It's weird. I'm doing this differently tonight, not having anything to look at other than having Annie's timeline pulled up. So,
You're
yeah,
wonderful. You know this right off the top of your head.
he's a chiropractor. But the only thing that they had asked is if we would remove the pictures just because they didn't want the kids' faces on there, and the kids were having a really hard time with everything.
Understandable.
Yeah. So, can only imagine it's pretty sad when your kids have more sadness and emotional understanding of what the hell's going on
Right.
than your mom, who was a part of it and did everything.
Yeah, it's pitiful.
Yeah.
So no, they didn't want Melanie to marry her uncle. You're talking about Melanie Gibb, right?
Right. Yeah. God, people.
Yeah. Okay. So they didn't want her to marry her uncle. It was not Melanie P.
No,
Melanie G.
Melanie without the E.
Can you guys put up Carl's Facebook group again? The link.
Melanie without the E is Melanie P.
Yeah, Melanie with an I, Melanie with an E. 11/29. So Melanie Gibb received. Oh, we did that one. The email, and then on the 30th, Melanie Boudreau marries Ian Pulowski, Las Vegas, and Alex, aka Alex Pastenes, is their. Why are you laughing? Is their witness. So
surprise.
Right. But why wasn't Alex, or why weren't they the witness for Alex? Why did they have to have the security guard?
Well, Melanie was in a wedding dress. Melanie was probably still getting changed.
Oh, she was getting all prettied up for her new husband.
I mean, that I don't know that for sure, but I mean that's a valid guess.
Well, the poor Pastanzas didn't have a witness. They had to use the security guard.
Well, I mean, to be honest, I'm sure that they're not the first couple even that day that had to do that in Vegas.
Know. I'm just playing. All right. Early December, Ian Pulowski texts his ex-wife concerns about the attempted shooting of Brandon Boudreau. She didn't know beforehand what was going to happen. They made the attempt, failed, and told her about it after the fact. So when he says they, what's he talking about here? He's quoting, she didn't know beforehand what was going to happen. They made the attempt, failed, and told her about it after the fact. What is he talking about?
Pretty sure he's talking about Alex and Melanie. Like he found out about. I don't think Melanie and Alex. Maybe they didn't tell him what they were doing, and then he found out about it. Maybe he really didn't know about it beforehand.
Oh. She knew ahead of time, though. But he's saying she didn't. Yeah,
Melanie, I'm pretty sure that Melanie and Alex planned it with Lori. All of this stuff wasn't Melanie's plan. This was Lori's plan. Like, Lori, she did all this to get Melanie sucked in. Like, there wasn't really anything wrong with Melanie's marriage to Brandon to begin with. Like, Lori sabotaged that 6 months out. It basically took her 6 months of constantly making shit up and creating all these lies about Brandon, saying that she was the one that started the rumors about Brandon being gay and all this other stuff, but there was never any evidence. And that when people were, there was that post on Reddit where someone was saying Brandon and Alex, and we all assumed that it was talking about Alex Cox, but I guess the family did have a friend named Alex who was gay. So if Brandon was going to a club with his gay friend, like going to a gay club with his gay friend, it's not anything crazy. Like, you don't have to be gay to go into a club.
Right.
So I think it was just Lori found something and tried to use it against him. But she was doing everything she could to sabotage that marriage. She wanted Melanie out of there because Brandon was actually able to use common sense and process simple things. So Lori tried to get rid of him.
So what is the Mormon church's views on homosexuality? I'm not familiar. Good. No?
Not
I mean,
good.
is it like
No.
Is it like a reason to be kind of like
Well, they updated it recently, but still there's families.
Like, are you disowned in your family? Like, does that happen where they disown the person?
Yeah, and it still happens because there's still people that think that the church is just saying that to make people happy and that they don't really believe it.
Uh-huh.
So they've updated the Book of Mormon a couple different times. They updated it in the 70s.
But it's kind of the unspoken rule then.
Yeah, I mean, they really have updated it, and they've made changes to the church and to BYU University. Yeah.
I just wasn't sure about that, like, because I keep hearing this stuff about Alex and being gay, and like, would
it's
it be
like just one of those things, like, you're just gonna piss people off even talking about it because.
But like, would it even matter? Like, would that really be something that Lori would be saying? You're a disgrace to this family. I mean, do we know that it would even be that?
It could. I mean, it very well could be, because if most families still didn't agree with it, even if the church did update it, and most families didn't immediately switch over to that style of thinking, they're going to be thinking that their neighbors are going to judge them and stuff like that. So they wouldn't want people to know about it. They wouldn't want it out there in the public.
Right, because they're really concerned about like their image and how people portray them and see them.
So, but you had to think, people had to have known. There's people, there's weird ass people that pull up a background search on random ass people for no reason. So you have to think that somebody would have pulled up something on that family. They would have seen all the stuff that Barry and Janice were involved in, Alex and Summer. So the whole being gay thing would just be like a put it on my tab type deal,
Right.
Wouldn't be the first thing to draw attention to the family, and it sure as hell isn't going to be the last.
Right. Okay, so back to Melanie Gibb. In December of 2019, she allegedly says that the kids are most likely dead and that all were probably killed by Alex. Gibb also, again, allegedly said that Lori and Chad were frustrated that Tammy had not died yet, and Chad allegedly told Lori it's not that easy to get someone's spirit out of their body. 12/1, Lori and Chad fly from LA to Kauai on American Airlines. RPD cannot find any information that confirms they've returned to the mainland since this date. All right, now I'm going to let you talk about December 2nd, because I think we talked about this Natalie a little bit already.
Ian Pulaski's mother calls him after talking to ex-wife Natalie. She told him that Melanie was in a cult, Chad is a cult leader, and her uncle had shot a man.
Can you imagine getting that phone call?
Yeah.
Hey,
Like,
hi, Mrs. Pulowski. I was just calling to let you know about Ian. His girlfriend's in a cult. Or his wife. His whatever Chad is to her is a cult leader, and her uncle shot a man. Are you worried yet?
Chad, who he didn't know about until he married Melanie, you know. But don't look up Ian's name on the internet and see that he was writing stuff that goes along the lines with Chad and his little butt buddies.
Oh my god.
God, it's so embarrassing. They try to pull all this stuff over your head like it's not 2020 and people aren't gonna be able to pull this information up. Like David Warwick and Ian both still have their little blogs up. Like you can still pull them up and see it. It's not like they even tried to take it down yet. They don't want you to believe it's there, but they don't want to take it down.
Hey, did you ever talk to Ian's mom or attempt to?
No, I've only been yelled at by Kelsey Ryan's mom.
Oh, really? I
Natalie's,
just wonder, like, what did his mom think after getting this call from this Natalie?
Ian's mom. So we had a guy in the group who was going to church, and he was using his phone and taking pictures and video, and he would like post it in the group, and like it was Melanie, Ian, and Ian's mom, and Melanie had her head. She was laying down in Ian's mom's lap, and she was playing with her hair.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Melanie was sleeping on Ian's mom's lap, and Ian's mom was playing with her hair during church, and that was before that anyone knew that she was pregnant. So her not feeling good,
I know,
down,
but still
would make sense at that point.
Weird. That's weird.
But he had said a couple times. Well, anyway, after the third Sunday, he had showed up early, and he was standing there at the front of the church waiting, or like at the church doors waiting for Ian, Melanie, and the mom to show up. And she came around the corner and saw him, and she went off on him, and she's like, "You're that Facebook guy," and completely went off on him. You don't have anything better to do. And I was going nuts.
What?
But she didn't yell at. She never yelled at me. She was yelling at this other guy. I got yelled at by Kelsey Ryan's mom.
My God.
Carrie Benson Tucker. My God.
You get it on video?
Did he get it on video?
Yeah.
I don't think he ever posted it.
Oh.
He did post pictures. Like you can see the three of them sitting together in church because he was in back of them.
Oh my God.
And so you could see that Melanie like was laying down and had her head down.
The Facebook guy was there.
He was basically, I don't know, on Twitter you would say that someone was live tweeting something, like the people that go on dates and you should see this date from hell, and guys like sitting in the booth in back of them live tweeting the whole thing. That's like what he was doing, but in our Facebook group.
My God. Where can we see the pics?
Well, it would be
in the group.
It would be, well, we can get one of our admins to go into the old group and pull them out.
Yeah, because now people want to see them.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't think the other group would even let you in to go look at them anyways.
Oh, after the feud. You guys in your drama mamas.
Oh, don't even get me started.
All right, so December 2nd, Alex's cock Alex's wow. Is it getting too late already, Carl? What in the
What we're doing J's for Justice After Dark.
It's not midnight yet. I started too early.
It doesn't matter. It's dark.
Oh
It's
my
dark
God.
outside.
Crazy. All right.
Let's get it going.
Let's take it. Let's start that again.
You
Alex.
better watch your comments. People are going to start going crazy now if they think it's after dark time.
Alex. Shut up, Carl. Alex's apartment goes back on the market. There. And then the next day, on the 3rd of December, according to an email from Natalie Pulowski, which is the ex-wife of Ian, to an associate of Brandon Boudreaux, Melanie Pulowski, current wife of Ian and former wife of Brandon, is interviewed by law enforcement for 5 hours. Okay, so that whole thing confused me. So Natalie was interviewed by law enforcement for 5 hours? Is that what I'm... Oh my God, Amy B just said add that to your intro. I can't.
Alex's Cox.
Oh, shit. You know what? You couldn't have just let that one slide, right? And just kind of...
Me?
Yeah. You, like, had my back or something.
What do you want me to say?
I act like it didn't happen.
Oh, she did not say Alex's Cox. There you go. I've got your back.
Thanks, Carl. All right, so now I'm going to hand over this to you. You're starting on December 4th.
December 4th.
Yeah, you'll have fun with this.
FBI agents from Phoenix, Arizona look into Lori Vallow, Melanie Gibb, and Richard Jason Mao, however you want to say his name. Agent digs into Lori Vallow's podcast. FBI agent notes Jason Moe joined them in the podcast. Moe said they had a special connection and described her as a gatherer. Moe connected Vallow with Gibb. Vallow mentions how suffering leads to salvation and that even though she doesn't want her kids to suffer, she understands they have to so that they can see the light. Agent also describes podcasts as not soothing by any means. That's one way to be nice about it. FBI agent digs into Richard Jason Moe's professional background. Agent notes that Phoenix Police Department's homicide sergeant recalls a time he was sleeping in the front seat of his car while he was supposed to be doing security for them as they were executing a search warrant. Agent asked another agent to look into him more. So I'd say this. Each one of these, Annie's included a link to her source where she's gotten this information. So if you go to Annie's analytics.com and pull up the timeline blog and you're following with us and you have any questions, you can click on it says like source 2, source 3.
Yeah, she's got everything documented. I have the link in the description of the video to her
Yeah.
website. Yeah.
So you can pull up all this stuff. Natalie Pulowski contacts an associate of Brandon Boudreaux trying to find him. It's a pretty desperate cry for help and reveals how scared she and Ian both were. Ian. Natalie and Ian Pulowski are interviewed by Rexburg Police Department. Notable, one of the items Lori Vallow's defense attorney requested from Rexburg Police Department was recordings from Ian Pulowski. I wonder what he recorded. It's worth noting Idaho is a one-party consent state, meaning he wouldn't have needed to get permission from someone he was recording. That probably would have been the wire that he was wearing for the FBI.
Uh-huh.
Right? Because I think at this time, she might not have known that Ian was wearing a wire.
How long did he wear the wire?
Well, it said like 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
But he totally, like, talked with him. They talked to him about wearing a wire. He had to have said something to Chad and Melanie, and they agreed the best thing to do was to wear the wire and have the conversations and come up with different stories and not say any actual details. Because you know that actually wearing the wire versus denying the wire and going to hiding would give him some sort of credibility and make it easier for them to continue not handing over any real info to these guys.
Sketchy.
Yeah, but I don't for one second believe that Melanie didn't know that he was wearing a wire. Like, look how awkward Ian is. Could you imagine Ian wearing a wire trying to have a conversation with his wife? She would have been like, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, why are you acting like this?
He couldn't put on a poker face.
Hell no. I would love to hear these tapes.
Well, maybe we will.
Hopefully. It'd be kind of cool. So, 12/6, Lori Vallow's friend and one-time Preparing People podcast co-host Melanie Gibb informs Rexburg PD that both Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell had contacted her separately on November 26th and asked her to lie to detectives and tell them JJ was with her. Notable, this was 10 days after she spoke to Gilbert Police Department detectives and let them know JJ was not with her.
So Gilbert and Rexburg were not talking at this time, I'm assuming?
Well, there's like Gilbert, Rexburg, and Chandler. So a lot of this stuff took time to get the three of them. Because you don't just...
It was crossing lines. Yeah,
you can't just call and say, hey, can you give me some information on this? Sure, let's start talking about it,
Right. It's interesting, though, to see it all kind of come together as we go through this,
Yeah.
Like what was going on when we were all wondering what was going on. This is what was happening behind the scenes, Interesting.
Yeah, slow as molasses, putting it together. Ian Pulaski meets with law enforcement again alone and restates what he knows for a few other detectives, Lieutenant Ball and another FBI agent named Travis. Chandler PD in Arizona search a serve warrant for all of JJ's records at Life Academy, where he attended before Lori Vallow moved him to Rexburg, Idaho, following JJ's father's death. December 8th, approximate date, Ian Pulaski texts his wife Natalie, ex-wife Natalie, with grave concerns about Melanie's court hearing. Her uncle's advice for her to move to Ammon, Idaho, his insistence on staying in Rexburg, and concern for Natalie's safety. Don't respond. I need you to encourage Brandon to keep info he gets on the down low until I can get this sorted out. I want to help, but it will be tough if everyone starts figuring out what I'm learning. She didn't know beforehand what was going to happen. No, he's talking about the attempted murder of Melanie's first husband, Brandon Boudreaux. They made the attempt, failed, told her about it after the fact. I understand that he doesn't want the kids around her because of all this, but I believe if she can see them, it will put a huge dent in her trust with her uncles. She's scared and had been told her middle children are dead. She has a family court date on December 11th. I'm trying to get her to go. I don't know if I convinced her to go to the family court hearing on Wednesday, but I'm trying, but she got an answer last night from God himself. Her uncles have her so wrapped up. They're telling her she needs to move to Ammon. That's not going to happen because I'm not going to leave Rexburg. They think it has something to do with jurisdiction. Dumbest thing ever. Don't respond. Just wanted to update you earlier because I had a quick second to call. Stay safe. Screenshots from Brandon Boudreaux's phone, thus the misspelling of Pulaski. and question as to the date the text was actually sent to Natalie. December 9th, Lori Vallow accesses JJ Vallow's app from his old school. Lori withdrew JJ September 5th, 2019.
I wonder why she kept accessing that.
She probably thought it made him look like she was being active. Is there information in there, like his maybe a social security number, or
Oh,
shit?
could
She could have not even known his own birthday. Who knows? But if she was trying to fill out paperwork,
yeah, she could have looked in there for info.
she needed pay. I think people were talking, like people familiar with the system and what it takes to pull a child out of school and to keep the government informed while you do homeschooling, and to be able to get the government checks for JJ's disability. That could have been something, a reason why she was constantly having to pull information up, and why she had JJ's information with her in Hawaii when they had the car confiscated from him at the resort when Nate Eaton cornered him.
Gotcha. Oh God.
Oh.
So here we have on the 10th, they're moving again. So they move into a condo at the villas on the Prince community in Princeville, Hawaii. The complex was across the street from the townhouse complex Charles and Lori used to live in. The 12th or the 11th of December, Melanie Pulowski has a family court hearing scheduled, and Pulowski has told his ex-wife Natalie he was trying to get her to go. He said she got an answer last night from God himself. And then the 11th of December, Tammy Daybell's remains are exhumed by the Fremont County Sheriff's Office with the assistance of the Utah Office of the Medical Examiner. An autopsy is conducted. The warrant states there is probable cause to believe that hereinafter described property or persons presently located within the hereinafter described location is connected with the commission of public offense, to wit, conspiracy to commit homicide first degree, which occurred on or about July 11th, 2019. I'm confused. Tammy didn't die in July.
Charles.
Oh, okay.
The one that died in July.
Okay.
July 11th. Yeah, that's Charles.
Oh, so they're going off what happened to Charles and then giving probable cause to exhume. So then the 12th of December is when the next day Alex Cox dies of suspicious causes in Gilbert, Arizona. Selima Pastena's son, 25 years old, Joseph Lopez, found him unresponsive in the bathroom. And what else, Carl? What else happened in the bathroom?
Yeah, and I went back and I was, he shit himself.
Yeah, thank you. And he refers to Cox as his mom's boyfriend, revealing he seemed to be unaware she had married Cox 12 days prior. He also didn't know Cox's last name when the operator asks. As part of the autopsy, investigators request an expanded toxicology panel from the medical examiner's office. And then the 18th, Chad Daybell's parents, Jack and Sheila, are interviewed by Rexburg police. The 19th, the RPD executed a second search warrant on Alex Cox's apartment. They went in with a forensic team and looked for any evidence of JJ having been. And then also on that day, Ian tells Melanie that he spoke with law enforcement. And this is also the approximate date that Ian records his notes of everything he told the FBI. And then we have the 20th of December was when the Rexburg PD announced the investigation into the disappearance of Tylee Ryan and JJ VALLOW, as well as their partnership with the FBI into the investigation. So now we've got it in the media, and that's when all the frenzy starts, right? In December?
Well, kind of. That's when Kay had put stuff on Facebook, and family familiar with Kay had been talking about it beforehand. So that's how Justin and Nate Eaton had information just from people talking and posting and sharing Kay's Facebook post around.
So Kay really started this whole.
Well, I don't know. It's weird because we talked about how we hear that Kay wasn't the first person to call the police or get the police involved.
Oh, right.
That April Raymond had called the police back when Joe had died around that time frame, and that she had called the FBI before Charles was even killed, and she was pretty much laughed off like she was crazy and basically unbelievable that anything like that would happen, that no one would believe stuff like that. And it didn't go anywhere. And she didn't say who else it was, but she said that she wasn't the only person, and that the other person wasn't Kay. So that multiple people had called, and she said that she had called multiple police departments. So
But
she didn't just call.
Kay kind of started the social media.
Yeah, I think
Sharing.
Because you know how it is. You post something on Facebook to get your friends and family's attention, and then I think someone said, "Can you make this shareable?" And then that's when people started sharing it with
It just took off.
all the reporters and stuff like that. And then I think like Justin or someone with Justin got a hold of Kay and got because Kay hadn't put all the dirt out there in her Facebook post exactly, and so he was able to get the backstory about more along the lines of what had been going on, and that's when like around the same time that Nate got the same information. So, and then they were able to run with it.
Oh, someone has a question. Hold on. Why did April call the FBI?
Because when Lori had taken off from her house and left Charles, she went and stayed with April in Hawaii, and Lori told April everything that was going on with Charles and Chad. Like Lori had tried to get April to go with her to that house in St. George, to one of those spiritual trips where they would go portal in the closet, So she had been recruited to be one of the 144,000. So she was, the way April described it is that she's a descendant of some pretty high profile Mormons. And so if someone like Chad were able to get April, Chad could advertise his cult as having a direct descendant of so-and-so, and thus giving him that much more validity than someone else. So it would pretty much help him out. And she said that he's not, he, as in Chad, but Lori did also, but they're not the only ones that have ever contacted her and tried to do this. Like, multiple other fringe leaders have done this as well because of her family history.
Yeah.
So it's like a normal thing. And she's not saying she's the only one that this happens to. She said basically the direct descendants of these people, it happens all the time. So April did report this at first chance. I don't think you're understanding when I said April did. April told me that she did call. She called multiple different police agencies. She called the FBI, and she was pretty much laughed off and saying, no one believes this stuff. This isn't real. Like, April was looked at like she was the crazy person.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine calling and reporting things like this?
Yeah. And she called multiple times.
I mean, look at
and
Charles.
That made her look crazier.
Dude, look how Charles, like, how they treated him when he was talking about it. And
Yeah,
the body
exactly.
cam. It was like, it was a joke.
And they flipped it on Charles like he was the bad guy.
They sure did.
And he was just trying to ruin Lori.
Yep.
So it's not.
It's a tough situation to be in to get them to take you serious on something like this. I mean, it's so far out there.
Yeah, and that was some other information that we've gotten that Jason
Malmo?
might not have been, Malmo wouldn't have been the only person in the agency holding up the investigation or screwing up documents, messing with police records, not reporting things correctly. That he wasn't the only one in those police agencies that were being contacted that was within not exactly Chad's cult, but the Church of the Firstborn community cult, I guess we could call it, if that makes sense, because they might have aligned with someone else other than Chad, but it's all the same.
You know,
Yeah,
you're
never had a
starting
chance.
you're starting to scare me, Carl, a little bit.
Why?
Because you just know way too much about this case. It's so scary. It's just so
talked to,
crazy, man.
I don't know, a lot of us don't just read. A lot of people see what they like. They read the news, and that's where they get their information, and that's where they've began and stopped their investigation into it. Like, a lot of us, we've talked to family members and friends, people that, like, I've reached out to people in a VALLOW, preparing a people. Like, I've looked into people that are enemies of Christopher Parrott. Like, I've looked.
It's awesome.
I tried to find multiple, not just one story. Like, I want someone that likes someone. Want someone that hates someone.
You want all sides.
Yeah.
Yep, I love it.
And if you don't tell someone,
that's how you get the true picture, you know?
Yeah, you don't tell someone what you're looking for. You kind of tell someone why you're messaging them.
Don't give away your secrets, Carl.
But then they tell you. And so if you don't tell them, like, hey, I'm looking to see if this happened on this date, and this person tells you something, and then they tell you the date, they've confirmed it for you without you having to put it in their head.
You're giving away all your secrets.
But no, I don't know, a lot of people aren't going to be doing it either. So, but if people are, then that's easier to have more people out there getting this information and getting better information out there.
Well, I love hearing you say that you like to get all sides, because that's kind of like how I've always approached my channel. Like, I'll have anybody on if it pertains to, you know, a certain case. I don't care who they are. You know, I'm not here to take sides. I'm here to just give information. you can take away from it what you will, you know. And I've gotten a lot of criticism for that, and I don't really
Yeah.
understand why, but I think it's great. And I mean, you can totally tell all the hard work that you and your crew have put in to this case, because this is a case like I've never followed before. Like, I've never followed a case that had this many rabbit holes that just keep popping up. So I wanted to really, you know, make mention of the hard work that you've put in to even know all this stuff off the top of your head.
Thanks. It's a team effort. All of our admins, we all do stuff differently. Like, we don't all work the same, and we don't all think the same.
That's what makes a good team, though.
But a lot of groups, like, if anyone has an opposing view, they mute them or kick them out. And I'll let someone call me a fucking idiot, and I'm not going to mute them, and I'm not going to kick them out. That's just the way that I mod. If someone's going to call me a liar, and I've put out all the information and I have receipts, you know,
Yeah.
then maybe at that point, or if it's someone that's just constantly lying and trying to just shit all over people. But I think that people need to be able to put their different opinions out there, and then when people accuse you, if one person comments more than another person, they accuse you of being all over that person's nuts. And it's like, no, that person just talks more. That person's just more transparent. They're more open. If you put an effort into your post, like if you actually gave a shit and put a little time and energy into what you were trying to post, we're going to improve it. But when you post the same thing that 30 other people tried to post before you, we're not just going to approve every single one. It's like, people will take screenshots of someone else's post.
Oh, I know. You'll have
and then
50 of the same post. I get it.
Yeah.
Yep.
No one wants to see that. And then they leave and go to another group that doesn't allow it to happen. So it's like, we want the conversations to all be in the same place.
No, it's very organized. I like your group.
It's hard having
It's a lot
bunch
of work.
mods, and yeah, because you don't talk to each other 24/7. So if you don't see, sometimes double stuff gets slipped by us. But
For the most part, you guys work good together.
Yeah, we all get along. We all joke around. We all have a sense of humor, so it makes it different than some of these people that just want to be serious nonstop. And
Oh, I got you. No, your
this
group
stuff's
has a
too
different.
sad to do that.
Yeah, your group has a different vibe to it.
Yeah.
All right, so continuing with December, she accesses JJ's app from his old school again on the 20th of December. And notable, the announcement of the investigation may have been a trigger for this login, but why? On the 21st, Rexburg PD calls Lori and Chad person of interest in the disappearance of Tylee and JJ. On the 23rd of December, Sean Bartholick of Rigby, Andrus, and Rigby issues a statement on behalf of Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell. Then on the 27th, a friend of Lori who spoke under the condition of anonymity said Vallow would say it's going to be the end of the world. We should all just drive off a cliff and kill us and our kids and die all at the same time. And then also, what?
That was April, wasn't it? Pretty sure that was April.
Was it?
At the time, in the beginning, she didn't want. Dateline was weird. Dateline would tell people they had talked to him, but say, you can't say anything about this. So people would talk to you and say, but you can't say my name. You have to keep me anonymous until this airs, and then you can say. So
it ended up being April.
Yeah, like Dateline wanted to be the first to say, like, no one had ever said this before until our show, or no one was able to confirm it until our show. Before, it was just an anonymous person.
Okay, so then on that
But
same
I don't.
day, we bring Julie Rowe into the mix. And she claims both she and Chad had a vision where angels told them that Daybell's wife Tammy would die. Rowe also claims she knows the kids are safe from her vision. I do know the kids are safe. I can see them. I can see their energy and that they're in a bright house. I can see they're in the living room where they are. I can see they're comfortable in their bed at night. She was wrong.
Yeah, like Donna saying, you'd find the dogs talking about sled dogs and a river.
I never listened to that.
You didn't miss out on anything. I just don't understand how, I don't know, some of these people say, like, they'll be sitting there talking about stuff they found on Google, and then they'll be like, I had a vision. It's like, you just were talking for 30 minutes about stuff that you were Googling. How can you say that you didn't find that on Google?
Well, you got to be careful. You got to be, you got to take your information and with a grain of salt, and take it all in. Obviously, some of this stuff, like obviously Annie's timeline has sources attached to it. That's a lot different. And the sources that you have and that you've confirmed yourself are a lot different. So, on the 30th of December, Rexburg PD issues press release stating they know the children are not with Lori and Chad and that they have information indicating that Lori knows either the location of the children or what has happened to them. And then early January of 2020, Melanie Gibb allegedly records a conversation over the phone with Chad and Lori where she confronts them about their false beliefs and cheating on their spouses.
Yeah, right.
On the 3rd, Rexburg PD and the FBI searched Chad and Tammy Daybell's former home in Salem, Idaho. They collected 43 items. In an act of defiance, Chad Daybell's adult daughter, Emma Daybell Murray, makes faces at reporters, which was captured by a KIDK reporter. She made faces, huh? What kind of faces?
She was just she was in Joseph's car, and they had pulled up in back of the reporter, and she was just mocking the reporter while the reporter's sitting there talking about kids possibly being murdered. And then there's Emma just making faces in the background and people sticking up for her. She's only 23. She's a great person. She teaches my kids in the 3rd grade, whatever grade it is.
Well, I wonder, in her defense, she probably couldn't imagine that her dad would ever be involved in something like this.
Well, she had talked with Julie Rowe, had talked to Emma within a week or so of Tammy dying, and Julie didn't cover up for Chad. She basically told Emma everything that they had talked about.
Oh.
It was kind of a dirty move. Like, Julie definitely was trying to stir some shit.
So she
wasn't being a good friend.
She overstepped.
I don't know. She did it on purpose. Like I said, spurned lover.
Oh.
She and Chad were doing their thing together, and then Lori stepped into the picture, and
she
Julie
had to
was
take
old
the
news.
back burner.
Yep.
Okay.
She had burner phone number 60. Lori had burner phone number 1. Downgraded.
All right, so January 4th, Kay Woodcock reveals in an interview with Fox 13 that Charles VALLOW made recordings of Lori. Charles told me he had recordings of her. Woodcock said, he said, nobody will believe me, and he recorded her one night. Even though it's deleted, nothing is ever deleted electronically. On the 6th, Kay and Larry Woodcock are interviewed by the Rexburg PD. Fremont County and RPD publish a press release issuing a search warrant on Chad Daybell's house. And the release mentions 43 items removed, including electronic devices, journals, documents, and medication. And then on the 7th, these people are so busy. Melanie had her court date for the trespassing charge. And also on that day, Larry and Kay announced their $20,000 reward for information leading to the recovery of him and Tylee. So Tylee is mentioned at that point.
Yeah, at that point. But like even earlier when it said early Jan, Melanie Gibb allegedly records conversation about false beliefs and cheating on their spouses. Melanie later talked about how she was with Chad and Lori and they were holding hands walking around the BYU Idaho track. So it's like, how do you confront someone about something when you're a part of it?
Right.
I don't get it. Things just keep popping up, and it's like this shit still doesn't make any sense. Like sometimes you think maybe you see something months later and
it's gonna make
it
sense.
might make sense of some things, and it's
None of
like
it does.
there's just too many lies that they can't connect stuff together to try and cover it up. There's just too many lies.
All right, so now we are on the 8th of January, and Lori accessed the app from JJ's old school again. And then on the 10th, Chad Daybell's younger brother, Matt, released a statement expressing dismay at Chad's sudden marriage to Lori and urging him to cooperate with authorities regarding Tylee. And Matt adds to his statement that it represents the views of him, his wife, and children, and not his extended family or parents. Then on the 13th, body cam footage, 911 call, and police report from the day Charles VALLOW was shot is obtained by Fox 10. On the 14th, Melanie Boudreau is interviewed by Rexburg police, and surveillance video from Yellowstone is received by Rexburg department. And then we fast forward to the 25th of January. Law enforcement in Kauai serves Lori VALLOW with a child protection order from Madison County Prosecutor's Office, requiring her to produce JJ and Tylee to Idaho Department of Health and Welfare or Rexburg Police Department by January the 30th. Give her 5 days. And then on the 26th, the law enforcement in Kauai served search warrants on the persons of Chad Daybell and Lori VALLOW and on a black Ford Explorer they had rented in the parking lot of the Kauai Beach. They found JJ and Tylee's birth certificates, Tylee's financial transaction card by BBVA, JJ's iPad, another iPad logged into JJ's Apple account, JJ's school registration receipts from Kennedy Elementary in Rexburg. And then notable on that is Tylee's card was still active at that time and had been used since she was last seen. It would be very difficult to prove plausible deniability, re the theory that Chad didn't know Lori had minor children when she had their birth certificates and an iPad with JJ's name on it in her possession. Between having JJ's iPad she had in the car, another iPad that was still logged into JJ's Apple account, and her login activity with JJ's previous school's app, it's possible she missed JJ. She had logged since withdrawing him from the you want to go on with the 26th?
Yeah, law enforcement in Kauai served a search warrant for the condo Lori VALLOW and Chad Daybell rent. Officers observed there are no signs of children. Evidence they cited, there were 2 beach lawn chairs in the garage. There were 2 exercise mats in the garage. There were 2 beach towels in the garage. There were no items in the garage or condo that appeared to belong to a minor child. There's no evidence of a 7-year-old boy, clothing, toys, books, medication. There was a second room in the condo that had no signs of being lived in. Nate Easton from East Idaho News pursues the couple to question them about the whereabouts of the children who've been missing for 4 months at this point. The 29th, Kay and Larry Woodcock file for emergency guardianship of J.J. VALLOW in Rexburg, Idaho. 29th, Chad Daybell and Lori VALLOW reportedly clear out of the condo they were renting in the villas on the Prince community. They allegedly move into the Kauai Beach Resort. January 30th, Sydney Woodbury Shank is interviewed by Rexburg PD.
Who's that?
Lori, that name's not
Familiar?
no, like
her
at all.
Oh, her source is Justin Lum.
But does it say
Let's
who she is?
Yeah, let me see. I think I'd have to read through the I'd have to read through the document.
No one in the comments is.
I don't know. I'm not reading. I'm trying to.
Oh God.
No.
Get ready to scroll down. I see Carrie Benson. I'm starting to get a twitch in my eye.
Oh my God.
Colby's mother-in-law.
Sydney. Oh, it just says
Is that a nanny? The babysitter?
Okay, so response to the request for discovery, the state has compiled with the request by, and it says Sydney Woodbury Shank interview on 1/30/2020 jump drive. RPD number 20152. Maybe
Is it a babysitter though?
Maybe. It doesn't say.
Oh.
Oh wait, Barbara said it's the pastor that married them in Hawaii.
Oh.
I want to talk to Sydney Woodbury Shank.
I know. Would she have been in charge of filing the paperwork, or would she have signed it and Chad and Lori been responsible to go and turn it in?
You can do it either way. You can have the person file it for you, or you can do it yourself. So it depends on what they chose to do. I'd be interested to know what Sydney did. It's a guy. Sydney's a guy. Hey Barbara, if you know Sydney, have him shoot an email or Facebook message. I feel like Barbara knows him or something. All right, so Lori oh, you were reading. Go ahead. It's all you. Carl.
Can you hear me?
I can now.
Sorry, my mom was trying to call me.
Oh, it's okay. Do you need to go?
No.
Oh, okay.
I shot her a text, said I'll call her when I'm done.
Okay, I just want to make sure it wasn't an emergency.
No, I mean, unless Donna's calling her and leaving her weird messages again.
Oh my God. She called your mom?
Yeah, they called my mom and said that I was going to kill myself.
Oh
my daughter was in danger.
You're kidding.
No, I'm being dead serious.
My God, that's horrible. That makes me sick. I've seen way too many people do that on YouTube as well. Sorry.
Yeah, they trashed my son's memorial page.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
They're psychopaths. Like, they don't think that the internet's not big enough for everyone. They think that if they shut a group down, that all the followers on that one group are going to go to theirs.
But to go to that length about a Facebook group is disgusting.
Yeah. And the reason why, it's pretty pathetic.
I'm sorry that happened.
Thanks. It's pretty dumb.
Yeah, it is. I know a lot of bad people I've met through YouTube as well that do. I know how it feels. You got to shake it off. And sometimes it's hard, though, because when they get personal and take it real life, it sucks.
Yeah, just getting my family involved. That's
Yeah,
what
it's
pissed me
wrong.
off. And they
Wrong.
don't the person that did it doesn't understand like what they've done.
Or care.
Like who did they've put a little kid in danger. Like they're stupid.
Messed up. All right, so January 30th, Lori defies the court order and does not produce the kids. Big surprise. And then she retained Daniel Hempy, attorney in Kauai, Hawaii.
Yeah, she goes through court orders and court attorneys like she does houses.
Dude, no shit. And she goes through them like as often as she's accessing this damn app. She accessed his app again on the 31st of January.
Yeah.
She's definitely got to be looking for some kind of info, like you said, like, oh, I need JJ Soch or
something. It's not like she could use it to hide anything.
Right. And there wouldn't be anything updated because he was withdrawn from the school back in September. Huh. Early February, Lori has her church records transferred to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Kauai, Hawaii. Tylee Ryan and J.J. Vallow's names were not included in the record. Chad Daybell hadn't transferred his records to the board yet. How convenient for Chad.
Yeah, I wonder why.
On the 1st of February, Colby Ryan's mother-in-law, Carrie O'Neill Benson, launches a GoFundMe to raise $15,000 for Colby and his wife, citing financial burdens resulting from the family crisis. And then the goal was reduced to $7,500. And then the 2nd of February, Lori and new husband Chad start attending the Church at the Church of Latter-day Saints in Kauai. Then we know he's located. On the 4th, Lori VALLOW accessed the app again on the 4th of February. And then on the 4th is an approximate date. Officials at Life Academy, JJ's former school in Chandler, that she withdrew him from on 9/5. They removed her access to the app. After
I wonder if she was like trying to update it to make it look like JJ attended the school, like re-enroll him or something.
You know what? I bet you that they were putting notes in there.
To pass notes?
No. Like the school was communicating with Rexburg PD. So I wonder if they had notes, like the school had notes in there, because she said that they removed Lori's access to the app after discovering she had continued to access the app to get updates. So what kind of updates would have been in his file? Was she trying to see like what was going on? What, you know what I'm saying?
I don't know. Because that could also be put in. The wording might have been put in differently. I don't know.
I just think it's weird that she accessed it 1, 2, 3, 7 times after he was withdrawn. I feel like there was something in there that, because I don't know. I just think it's weird.
Yeah.
So anyway, they cut her off. They were like, oh God, she's been logging in. She's gone. So then on the 4th, the surveillance footage from the storage unit was published on East Idaho News. And Rich Robertson, a private investigator on the 5th of February, hired by Brandon Boudreaux, comes forward to say Boudreaux identifies Alex Cox as the shooter. He says the vehicle that was involved in the shooting belonged to Charles VALLOW. It was a green Jeep Cherokee, a Texas license plate. I thought it was a Wrangler.
I thought it was a Wrangler also, but I don't know. It seems like See, down below it says Alex Cox was actually driving a gray 2008 Jeep Wrangler. The Jeep is also sometimes described as green in court documents because of its hue.
Oh.
I think that it's just one of those things that people don't understand, that there's a difference between Cherokee and Wrangler. Like calling Levi's Levi's. Like you
Right.
say Levi's.
Right.
People just assume. I don't know.
On the 10th law enforcement report, they found Tylee Ryan's cell phone with Lori Vallow in Hawaii. Then on the 11th, Fremont County's Office of the Prosecuting Attorney denies Fox 10's public records request for the 911 call and report taken in the death of Tammy Daybell, and any 911 calls from the Daybell home on 10/9/19. And then I'm not going to read the mumbo jumbo of why they denied it, but
All the court stuff, yeah.
yeah, I'm not going to read all that. And then it says a note, 10/9/19 was the date Tammy Daybell filed a report with the Rexburg police claiming to be shot at by a masked man carrying a paint bug. Oh, okay. So they wanted that 911 call as well from Tammy, and then also on the 12th of February, Keith Morrison of Dateline is tipped off that Lori and Chad had packed their bags and were heading to Mexico. And then 2 days...
They had...
Go ahead.
Well, some reporter in the hotel saw Lori with the tickets in her hand and the bag of cash.
Oh, really?
But they don't know. Yeah, either they didn't tell us what happened, but we don't know what happened. How, like, why they didn't get on the plane. Like, maybe the passport situation.
So this was just some random, or?
Well, it was
or someone that was surveilling them.
Well, there were multiple reporters that were down there.
Oh, a reporter, you said that. Sorry.
Yeah. And so there was, because Dateline, all we saw was that Nate was down there with East Idaho News.
Mm-hmm.
But then Keith Morrison in the Dateline episodes, he talks about how he always says, like, Dateline was there when this all went down, but we've never seen like a Dateline reporter or anything like that. Is East Idaho News like a NBC affiliate or something?
Not sure.
That might make sense.
They might be.
That part might make sense, but
somebody in chat will tell us.
Yeah, someone before, like when it was happened, someone that worked for somewhere, I don't know if I should say, but I was told that Lori was seen with the tickets in her hand and a baggie of cash. So, and the same person said that someone in our Facebook group had put the information together by looking at Lori's Instagram of like her old photos in Hawaii about where her favorite place was to go, and pulled the location tags together and everything, and said if Lori was in Hawaii, this is where she would be, in Kauai at this beach, and that's exactly where she was. So this dude was like able to think really smart and really easily track her down. But I think that the police knew where she was at the whole time, because someone else in the group has relatives that worked for Kauai PD, and they said that they had people on Lori the whole time. So the whole time that
East Idaho News is independent, someone said.
Independent? Yeah, so like the whole time the media was saying, have you seen JJ and Tylee? And saying that Chad and Lori had taken off they knew that Chad and Lori were in Hawaii the whole time.
Okay. Then on the 16th, they are seen boarding a plane to Maui. And Ian Pulowski brings his ex-wife his laptop where she found a bizarre note about Melanie and the group she was involved with. The 18th of February, Lori and Chad returned to Kauai. And then on 18th, the search warrant was served at the storage unit and police removed all the items in. And then the same day, they submit a criminal complaint against Lori Vallow. And that was when they charged her with 2 felony counts of desertion and non-support of dependent children, resisting or obstructing officers, criminal solicitation to commit a crime, and contempt of court. And she was arrested on the 20th and taken into custody at 2:30 p.m. HST by the Kauai Police Department and held on $5 million bond pending extradition to Idaho. And then on the 21st was her first court hearing. We don't really go through all the details. Anything you want to talk about in her hearing?
No, I think at this point, most people were following
Yeah, and it's
the
pretty.
groups and the case, all the podcasts pretty heavily at this point. Know all about her using Jolly Ranchers as lipstick and
Okay, so
all
on the
that other stuff.
on the 21st, she was booked into the Kauai Community Correctional Center. On the 23rd, child custody papers reveal that Ian provided statements to law enforcement that Melanie Pulowski, Brandon Boudreaux's ex-wife, told him shortly after they married that she conspired with her uncle Alex Cox to kill Brandon. Brandon alleges that Melanie was motivated by a $1 million life insurance policy. Melanie's new husband, Ian, told law enforcement, Melanie once said something to the effect of, "Sometimes children are full of light, and just like that, they go dark." On the 24th of February, Chad canceled his lease on the condo in Kauai. On the 25th, the Madison County Prosecutor's Office subpoenas Lori and Chad Daybell's Princeville landlord, the Kauai Beach Resort, and J.J. Vallow's school in Rexburg, Idaho, Kennedy Elementary. For all parties, they have until 3/9/20 and have to produce all documents from 8/1/19 to the present. And on the 26th, a judge denied Lori Vallow's second request to lower bond. She waives her right to an extradition hearing. She will return to Idaho to face charge. And then the 26th of February, the attorney for Melanie Pulowski issues a press release denying Pulowski admitted to any wrongdoing with the kids and denying she knows where they are. He also denies she had anything to do with the alleged shooting of former husband. And then Chad returned to Rexburg on the 29th of February. On the 4th, Lori had a status hearing in Kauai before being extradited to Idaho. And then on the 5th, she arrived in Rexburg. And her attorneys requested documents, scheduled for an arraignment, and her bond was reduced from $5 million to $1 million by Judge Farron Eden, who people in my group like to call him Bobby Brady. He looks like
Bobby Brady.
They said he looks like Bobby Brady. Madison County Prosecutor Rob Wood reveals in Lori Vallow Daybell's first court hearing in Idaho that she continued to receive Social Security benefits for both kids after she left Idaho without them. And then on the 9th is the deadline the Madison County Prosecutor's Office assigns for all parties to comply with, served February 25th. I don't know, you want to kind of scroll through this and pick out, like, I feel like we don't need to read each thing here. like her hearings being moved and things like that.
Yeah.
Kind of redundant.
Yeah. Remove the judge.
Yeah, I mean, because then COVID hit right around this
March
time.
11th. Yeah. March 11th, Colby talked to his mom while she was in jail.
Yep.
Didn't really say what she said, but we pretty much know she didn't say anything.
She didn't tell him shit.
That they're going to tell us. Yeah. You know, and if they had a good relationship, you think that. But Summer and Janice also said, when they said, well, why didn't you ask where the kids were? And they're like, we can't ask her that. They're listening.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they can hear us. Like, well, you didn't care in the months before then?
Right. Okay, so this Judge Farron Eddins was over the case in March. Is this the judge that Lori did not want over her case? I never heard that.
Something in Idaho allows them to request, like during a hearing, during a trial, allows them once to request a judge be removed, and it doesn't have to be approved.
So I did hear that she wanted him removed, and
yeah,
it wasn't approved. So she's got Bobby Brady.
And then what? Lori's attorney, Webb and L. Cox, they both stepped down from the case, assuming that she just couldn't afford to pay both of them. She didn't need 3. So then they made Michelle Mallers made judge, prelim hearing May 7th and 8th.
Then her two attorneys withdrew from her case.
Yeah, officially.
Yeah, walk us through all this stuff. This is definitely your forte.
From the case. And prosecution turned over 1,600 pages of documents, 14.6 gigs of video, photo, other electronic media to the defense. Detective Nathan Moffat with Chandler PD writes in an email to Fox 10 reporter Justin Lum, he's confident CPD is getting closer to indicting Lori Vallow for her involvement in the shooting death of Charles Vallow. So that was March 24th. So still waiting. Don't hold your breath.
Yeah, I like Annie's note. I don't care how premature this is. Hell yeah.
Yeah. March 30th, Mark Means visit with Lori and is forced to sit in a public area, speak on a recorded phone line, and pass confidential paperwork through employees due to coronavirus constraints. And I think it was later that they got pissed off about that and filed something, because that's not on there. Right there. Vallow's apartment went back on the market for rent on April 5th. The property was listed as pending. Zillow's, I don't know, it says Zillow, but Zillow's not the most accurate thing out there when it comes to dates and anything like that. Like, you can go on Zillow and it'll show your own house listed for sale.
Really? I've never seen it be like that off.
Yeah. Because anyone could get on there and put in information for a house. Like,
yeah, I guess that's true.
It's kind of weird. So let's see. Daybell Means request all the information on all those people.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Justin Lum tries to set up a meeting with Daybell and Jill via the Telmate app. She accepts him as a contact but denies his call. Truth be told, I just included this event to point out Homegirl was looking rough.
I love that.
April 7th, Rob Wood argues Lori Vallow Daybell should be permitted a bond reduction because she hasn't complied with the standing court order to produce her children. 410, Idaho Attorney General's Office assumes full responsibility and authority in the investigation of Chad and Lori VALLOW Daybell roles in the death of Chad's late wife, Tammy Daybell. The pair is being investigated for conspiracy, attempted murder, and murder. Tentative date for bond hearing. Let's see, postponed third time, May 1st.
Yeah, then COVID hit.
Yeah. April 29th, attorney Sean Bartholic tells Justin Lummy no longer represents Daybell. Daybell's now represented by Means. Court change. Larry and Kay Woodcock appeal to members of the Cox family to have a meeting to try and work together to find Tylee and JJ. JJ turns 8 years old, May 25th.
I'm glad
June
I didn't have to
9th.
read that sentence.
Yeah.
Woodcock and Cox in the same sentence.
Yeah. June 9th, Rexburg Police Department, assisted by the Fremont County Sheriff's Department and the FBI, execute a search warrant on the property of Chad Daybell, discover 2 sets of human remains. Daybell's arrested, charged with destruction or concealment of evidence, booked into Fremont County Jail. Daybell appears in court for his initial hearing. Judge Edens agrees with Prosecutor Rob Wood's recommendation for $1 million bond. Arguing for the bond amount, Wood confirms the remains found on Daybell's property belong to children, and the concealment of one of the bodies is particularly egregious. We know that was Tylee. Hey, let me look real quick and see if I'm allowed to say something.
Okay. We will wait. You look at
About Tylee.
Jay Summers said that her stepbrother's girlfriend was in jail with Lori when she came back from that hearing. She said her nose was straight up in the air, shoulders back. She thought she was getting out.
Jay Summers.
Jay Summers.
Is that Janice?
I don't
the girl
know.
that's been going around filming.
Oh, I don't know. Is
She
that...
was the one that was driving by and filmed Chad being arrested.
Oh, that's... No, I thought her name was Brittany or something like that. Maybe there was 2 of them.
I don't know. I thought it was her. She's been around the...
You're probably right. I'm waiting to see what she says. But...
I think I'm going to hold off on saying
okay.
this right here.
Okay. Are you sure?
Yeah, we'll
table that.
I'm sure that we'll do this. Yeah, I'm sure that we'll do this again, and I'll get confirmation if I'm allowed to.
Yeah, I don't want you to reveal anything you shouldn't. So,
it's just details about something, and
yeah,
I don't know who all has the details, so this person might be able to be easily identified.
Yes, Janice, that is her. Yo,
nailed it.
All right, so on the 13th, the remains found on Chad Daybell's property are positively identified as belonging to Tylee Ryan and JJ VALLOW by the Ada County Medical Examiner. Rexburg Police Department issues a press release. On the 1st of July, Chad Daybell is scheduled to appear in court for a preliminary hearing. 7/22, the anticipated end of the world in Lori VALLOW's mind. VALLOW Daybell believed she was a god and allegedly warned her late husband, Charles VALLOW, not to get in the war. Oh, Jay Summers says she was filming and Brittany was driving. See, we were both right.
Nailed it.
I nailed it. I tried to get a hold of Brittany. I wanted to talk to her after I saw her video.
Janice, are you going to accept my offer to become a underground video maker, video producer, so that you can make videos like Heather? We need a backup.
That'd be awesome. That's why I wanted to talk to her. I thought it was Brittany. I didn't know there was two girls. Good job,
we've
ladies.
commented and we've tagged her a couple times trying to get her to answer. I haven't seen an answer from her yet.
Oh, well, let's see what she says. Now she's on the spot. Jay Summers.
Sorry, not sorry for putting you on the spot.
Hey, sometimes that's how you got to do it. Do it. You have to say Cox fast 3 times. Nope. Not
Cox.
I'm not. It's Alex from now on. Do you think that Lori is being protected right now? In jail?
Protected.
Like from other inmates?
Being put in solitary.
Or is she with other inmates?
People that kill children aren't really. I don't think people that kill children exactly have it good in jail.
No, I don't either.
You think that it would be, and it shouldn't have to be, but you think that it would be something that gave people an incentive not to murder children and abuse children because of what they do to them in jail. I mean, there's other women that are in jail for, who knows what, but maybe they've been trying to have kids forever and never been able to have kids. So someone's going to get in jail. They're going to get that anger taken out on right there.
Mm-hmm. Jay Summers said, "I told you I would play." He responded.
Oh, let's see it. Sorry, tag me in weirdest stuff. Like my people get upset that haven't been responding tags. Like that's why we ask people to not put things crazy, because people tag and people will tag missed. Like Annie knows the same thing. Annie gets tagged in a 9-month-old video, people saying, "Annie, have you seen this?" And it's like Annie posted the video.
Right.
And then everyone else in the comment thread starts tagging Annie. So she can't get away from it. And if she doesn't respond, then the person's like, "Well, I guess I should send her a message and ask." So, and it's like, people don't realize you don't need. There's 16,000 people in the group that we try to organize and run everything through. So,
well, she said yes. She took you up on the offer.
Cool. I'll shoot you a message. Yay. Later. Not tonight. It'll be too late tonight. It probably won't make any sense. So tomorrow, I'll shoot you a message tomorrow.
Are you getting sleepy there, Carl?
No, but usually when I get done doing your done doing your episodes, like I get back on and my messenger's like blown up.
I know it. I know.
So it takes me a while to get through and respond to people.
Oh, so. She said she didn't think she could tag. I don't know. He'll send you a message, Jay Summers. Janice. Her name, Janice. Janice and Brittany.
You can tag me. Especially if I tagged you and asked you a question, you can tag me.
All right. So I guess that concludes our timeline. Are we up to date? I mean, we're not up to date, but we are up to date on the basics, right? The basics.
The world's supposed to end in a week, so
We
we
have a
might not
week.
have to do this again.
We have a week left. Live it up.
Yep. Everyone go to Vegas and get paid.
I wonder if Lori is still thinking
Trying
that.
to don't let your let have the photo.
My God, you're cutting out again. Carl.
Saying I'm breaking up. Here.
Yeah, you're totally breaking up.
Oh.
Get out of the portal.
Yeah, I can
Come
hear
back.
you now.
Come back. Okay, he's out of the portal. He's out now.
Can you?
Yeah, I can hear you. Think. Hello?
Yeah, no, sorry. I'm good. I'm good.
All right. All right. Well, that concludes our timeline, and we will be doing this again as more things come out. And I don't know. I don't even think we've touched the surface on most of this timeline that we could go deeper into, but that's the basis of it.
Well, we're gonna have some good. We've got some stuff.
Side
We
scoop.
have some good stuff. Yeah, I'm sure that there's stuff you've been looking into, but there's stuff that the admins in our group have been looking into, and we have some pretty good info that we haven't discussed yet and dropped any hints at. So
There's a lot more to come.
Yeah, we're just trying to verify a couple things and get some info. So if you see me tagging someone and asking people to reach out, it's because I'm trying to wrap up the last couple things, or we're looking for one person to speak to another person to see if they can get some things to match up.
Yeah, so in other words, the good thing about your group is that you don't post things unless you've like double, triple verified to make sure it all matches up and makes sense.
Yeah, and that's why the only thing, the biggest thing was Methgate, because it was given to us by the family and we were asked to post it. And so when that ended up being, I don't know if it's necessarily incorrect, but us not knowing where the information came from and needing answers, and then all of a sudden they clammed up and it was like, we'll hold up for a second.
Jay Summers says she's got some stuff.
Got some answers to Methgate.
Does.
Cool.
All right. Well,
I guess she can shoot me a message tonight.
Yeah, you guys will be talking.
Yeah.
All right. Well, cool. Well, I'm glad that worked out. And thanks again, Carl, for walking through this timeline with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Oh yeah, always. It's always a pleasure. All right. Have a good night. Thanks again. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. See ya. Thanks.
Okay. Bye, Carl.
Bye.
Well, thanks you guys for joining us for part 2 of this timeline. Thanks again to Carl and all of his crew for all of the information that they have dug up over these months. It's overwhelming. There's so much. There's so many people, and there's so many things that they've uncovered that it's never ending. So thanks for being here, and don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you liked our little timeline tonight. So talk to you guys soon and enjoy the rest of your night. Good night.